Okay, we'll call the Oregon City Arts Commission meeting on June 23rd to order. I will hand it over to Ann to do the roll call.
Thanks. Good evening, everybody. Amanda Dexter.
Present.
Joyce Lemaster.
Here.
Daria Loy.
Here.
Josh Planton.
Here.
Let's see. Rebecca Sierra.
Here.
And who have I missed? We have excused absences from Emma Lugo and from choir, and expecting Amy to join in progress or to be here later. So. Oh, and I just would like to also recognize Mayor McGriff. Thank you.
I just got home, folks, so I have family in town visiting.
Welcome.
Thanks.
So with that, we'll go into adoption of the agenda. Are there any comments, questions, or additions to the agenda that anyone would like to make? If not, would anyone like to make a motion to, or I'll just ask for objections on approving the agenda as published? Okay, we'll go ahead and
I
consider
haven't
that.
seen their agenda, so I guess I have to figure out where it is.
I'll email them to you, Denise.
Sorry.
With that, we'll move on to item number 3, approval of the June 5th meeting minutes. Give everyone a couple minutes just to review. If there's any changes that anyone would like to propose, please let us know. And I would like to make one change. So under item 5A, proposed public arts murals, last paragraph, last sentence, it goes, he noted that it is normal practice as all funding ultimately requires sign off from city staff and city manager. I don't remember saying city staff, but I think per the current municipal code, only the city manager is required to sign off. So I'd like just to remove the city staff and from that sentence, just to make it clear for the record.
You?
No one had any other changes? We'll ask for a motion to approve.
I move to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Amanda, is there a second?
This is Rebecca, I'll second.
Thanks, Rebecca. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. All those opposed say nay. Okay, we'll consider them approved. And any public comments?
Did not receive any public comments.
Okay. Then we'll jump into discussion items for tonight. Final updates on fiscal year 2025 projects. And I'll pass it over to you to kind of do the introduction on these and then let us know if there's any additional, if anyone else has additional comments on any of these items.
I'll start with the Art for Every Heart. Did everybody get a chance to see the winners that were displayed at the 6x6 art show? I want to thank Joyce for the work she did to put that display together. We are going to be sending out gift cards, excuse me, to each of the winners. I'm having discussions now with our finance team as to where we should purchase the gift cards from, as opposed to just giving everybody an Amazon gift card, or a Fred Meyer gift card, give them something that's art related. So, I've suggested that we, do a gift card to, the art supply, I've been framed art supply store, or to Soul Flags, or some combination thereof. So, we're going to be giving gift cards out to our first, second, and third place winners.
In each category, so.
In each category,
There'll be
correct.
6 awards total, okay.
That's correct. Any questions about Art for Every Heart? All the winners have been notified. I haven't notified all of the people who did not win.
And I think some of the winners were at the art show as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were.
that was
Yeah.
kind of neat.
And maybe just a point of clarification then, the gift cards is due to the fact that they're all under 18, or I would assume all of them are under 18? Is that, we don't want to give them just a check, right? And we-
I think that's the primary reason,
Okay.
yes. Hey, Myra, I'd like to recognize Myra has joined the meeting.
It would be nice to give them gift cards from I've Been Framed, since we worked with I've Been Framed on the 6x6 show. They were one of the providers of the boards, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
And in terms of the vendors and payments for the 6x6 show, all of our vendors have been paid, with the exception of our 2 bands. So I'll make sure that those funds go out to the 2 bands that were there. And we're just getting all the paperwork together for those bills to get paid.
So Trias was paid her fee and also her reimbursement, is that correct?
Oh, you're right. She's been paid her fee, but she has not been paid her final reimbursement.
Okay.
Yep. Josh and I were going to propose to the 6x6 art show subcommittee that we meet another time just to go over lessons learned and how we would do things differently at a future event.
And then my plan is on that meeting to ask that group to agree to ask the Oregon State Arts Commission to put it on hiatus until we decide if we are going to do another 6x6 art show. I'd like to just make sure we're clean and clear on, which groups are still active and not active. So we'll do kind of a debrief post-mortem, and then ask the Arts Commission to put that group on hiatus until further decisions are made. For those who weren't there or haven't seen the final numbers, 296 pieces were returned. 89 pieces were sold. Of those, several were fully given towards the Oregon City Schools Foundation. So the final number is somewhere in the 2,900 area. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think that's correct. And the rest of the pieces, once Trias is back from Europe, she will reach out to the artists, give them several opportunities to reclaim their artwork. If they don't pick that up, any leftover pieces will be donated to the 6x6 art show later this year, which I believe is happening in August or September. So the pieces that don't get picked up will be reused. So, any questions on the 6x6 art show? I do want to give a big thank you to all of our volunteers who helped on that event, to the committee members who helped plan the event, to Trias for her work, to all the artists out there who submitted paintings. There was a lot of great pieces. I think overall the event went really well, and we did make some good progress. I think people were happy and excited about the event. So Yeah,
Yeah, there was a lot of good feedback.
yeah. Okay, let's move on then to,
Oops, sorry, I just had to leave the room for a second. Did you want comments about the art event?
if you had anything you wanted to share, for sure,
Sure,
we're gonna
yeah.
do a debrief at the subcommittee meeting, but, any, the comments you want to share now is great.
Sure, I don't plan on attending the subcommittee meeting, I apologize, but, I got lots of really, really good feedback. People loved the dancing at the end. Yes. I heard a lot of good comments about, the variety of art, and they thought that was really good. And I got some emails too, so I hadn't looked at all of them because, like I said, I just got home today. The one comment I did hear, and from several people, is they thought the music could be at the end instead of at the beginning,
Yeah,
because they just said it was too loud. I heard a lot of that, but because it was like old home week. People were visiting, people who hadn't seen each other for months. It was really great. I mean, that was the fun part, was just making connections to people who hadn't seen each other for a while.
yeah,
I think part of the problem with the music was the acoustics in the room. Even when there was no music, it was very loud. So, yeah, we're definitely going to take that into account for next time.
I figured you would, and the people playing in the band were just so lovely. Of course, I knew two of them, but they were lovely. But everybody said, "Why didn't we have more dancing at the end?" I said, "Well, there you go, dance, please."
great. Thank you.
And thank you for allowing me to volunteer.
Yeah, it was great having you there. We appreciate your giving us some of your time for that, so.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next item is the website.
Well, I do know that the payment has gone out, so, Inkstain Media has been paid. I don't know if you want to jump in, Rebecca, I know you've been speaking with them.
Yeah, so because of everything leading up to last weekend, and people's schedules and everything, in mid-July, Ann and I are going to get back together with Dave, who was the web developer and designer, and he actually wrote up a really great manual. So there's documentation for future commissioners, and also for Ann to reference, which I'm very grateful for. And so we'll be building that out in July, and hopefully it'll be done here pretty quickly.
One of the, we'll be featuring different art on each of the pages, but we're also starting on the homepage with the Arch Bridge mural that's at the library now. That's going to be on the homepage where people land. So.
Perfect. Any other questions on the website? Okay. Next up then,
Myra had her hand up.
oh, Myra, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Is the website up yet? When is it live?
No, it's not up yet. We're going to be working on it in mid-July.
Got it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. There was just so many other things going on that other things took priority, and so we just decided to push it back. Our priority was to get Inkstain Creative to build it out and get paid before June 30th. So we accomplished that, and now we've got to actually fill everything in. He templated everything, and so Ann and I will do the writing and select the images and put everything in. And for the homepage, like she said, we chose Kathy's Arch Bridge mural for the kind of the hero, at the top of the page, you'll usually see a big picture, just because it's such a great piece. So soon.
Yeah, I'm just excited. excited.
I know, I am too. And if you want to help, you're more than welcome. So, you know,
Okay.
it's not just for me and Anne to do. Like, if anybody else has time on your hands and you want to help go through the files of images and pick out art or pick a section that you would like to write, that would be awesome.
Okay, good to know.
I see Denise has her hand up.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So when you're talking about putting all three pieces on the mast?
Yes,
Not
that's
just
right.
Kathy's side.
That's right, yeah. So
Okay.
that piece, the arch bridge piece is a triptych, and there are two other artists, that are also there. But yes, all three will be there. I think some of the sub pages will have maybe just 1/3 of it, but on the main landing page will be the full triptych.
Yeah, so make sure there's some reference to those particular two other artists. I can never remember the lovely lady from West Lynn, but I know Brian from the Grand Ron, so.
Right.
Oh, and since, Denise, since got your hand up and we're talking about the website, I wrote kind of a origin story about the art commission, and I just need somebody to be like, yeah, that's accurate. Cause I went and historically dug up stuff and tried to put it all together. So if I need to resend that out, I would just love for someone to just fact check and make sure that that's correct.
Oh, I'd be happy to, and I'll also have Commissioner Smith look at it as well.
Oh, okay.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I will send that out again.
Okay,
I'll
yeah,
shoot
just-
that out to us, and then you can forward it to the commissioner.
Sure, yeah, probably would be easier for me if I get it and then I can just sit down with him. Because
Okay.
sometimes, let's just say, he's not as prompt as I would like him to be.
Okay, that sounds good. That would
Okay,
be
I'll be
really
happy
helpful
to.
because
Yes.
I want to make sure that it's accurate.
Yeah, I'll be happy to.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Daria, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, also, if you want, Rebecca, I can send you a copy of, I need to scan it because I don't have it digitally, but James Brown gave me and maybe we can have through Anne, we can have actually the digital version, but he gave me a document which actually is the history, an account of the history of the Arts Commission from the beginning till maybe a few years ago. There's like all different steps and stages because somehow at some point they commissioned someone to do a research and put together the presentation. So I don't know if it's helpful, I'm happy to send it to you. Or maybe Anne, if you have a digital copy of it, even better, because I've got it all in paper. I don't have the digital copy.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. What I tried to do is create more of a story and a summary, but it might be nice for there to be, if there's a timeline to kind of
Yeah, there
some of
is.
those key moments.
Yeah, there is all different timeline and events. It's a pretty good, actually, report.
Okay. Do you have that digitally?
I'm not entirely sure if I have the specific one that you're referencing,
Okay.
Daria, since you're saying it's just,
Yeah, you gave it to me when you were at a meeting. Do you remember?
Okay.
We were all together in a meeting.
Oh, that's
and you
right,
brought
when we
it
were
to
meeting,
me.
when we met with Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll confirm that I have
I'm
that.
happy to scan it if we cannot, but I'm sure that probably James has got a copy
Yeah,
because he printed it for me.
Yeah, I'll confirm I have it, and if I don't have it, Daria, I'll let you know, but I think I do.
Is this the timeline that runs from 1991 to 2013?
It's from very, very kind of day one and all the different, it's an account of all the events, what happens, why that happened, how did he move there. It's maybe, I want to say
Okay.
15 pages long or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never seen it before. Like it was an interesting document that I've never seen before.
Great, thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a history so that future commissioners can see what everything we've been up to.
Any other final comments on the website? Okay. Then I'll pass it over to Anne to give a update on the public art restoration projects.
Great, thank you. Has everybody had a chance to take a peek at the staff report? So as we launched the public art renovation program, we've had 3 projects that have gone forward, which, So again, those three projects are DC Lateral Park mural restoration, the Ogle Mountain mural restoration, and the Salmon Bench restoration. So those are the three projects. So just to give everybody an update on where we are with things. So in terms of the DC Lateral Park mural restoration, you all know we selected Kathy Rowe to do the work. Parks and Recreation has agreed to pay the $125 application fee. And in having conversations, we've decided we don't need to get an easement fee because it would be the city giving an easement to itself. We've decided that is not necessary. And same thing with insurance. I don't need a special certificate of insurance because it's the city insuring itself. So we said those two things were not necessary to satisfy the mural application. I do have a copy of the actual application, which is in this packet on your desk. Kathy has already started doing some of the prep work involved. The Parks Department has done the power washing of the wall. She's done some of the what she just described it to me as prep work, and she has, secured the paint. I am working to get her contract signed. I just need to get our city manager to sign it, and then in the check run that goes out, so she's going to have 2 check runs in quick succession, 2 payments of $6,000. And she was also very open to the idea of wanting to have like a public call for artists just to recognize the history of that particular mural and having people in the community participate and help paint the mural. She did put out a call or like a request through the Three Rivers Artists Guild, but did not receive any responses to that particular call. What we are now planning with the Parks Department is just to have some Sunday afternoon, something over the summertime that's just a little event for the community. Just like, hey, a recognition of the fact that the mural was done. I don't have a date for that yet, but it will be obviously after June 30th.
Does Kathy think she's going to be able to finish the work by the June 30th timeline? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then
she thinks she needs like 3 days and
to do it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then on the easement and insurance, so that's been run by legal counsel. They've confirmed that that's not required because that's part of the municipal code that those things be submitted with the application. And last time I talked to legal and James about formalities, they were saying that the city should follow the municipal code that everyone else has to follow. That was their recommendation. So as long as city council signs off on it, I have no issue, but I just want to bring that up as a point that they made that comment the last time I spoke to them.
When was that conversation, just so I can know to tell them?
That was early June.
Just like this
month.
Okay.
Yeah, because we proposed in making some adjustments to the municipal code that would allow the city not to have to go through the same process, and legal counsel felt that it was best for the city to go through the same process that everyone else has to. So.
Right, I will get clarification or confirmation on that particular point. All right.
Just one other point I want to make on this piece is I noticed that it wasn't in our art inventory assessment. So that's something that we probably should start looking at, is adding pieces as we go. We have the new statue on 7th Street, that mural. We should probably do an update on the other mural that we're going to talk about here in a minute. But it would probably be good to just make some reference updates on some of those. Even the arch bridge piece, because that's not in there either, so. Yeah,
no, you're right. There's a number of pieces that need to be updated, or, there had been another mural downtown, was on the 503 building, that's got that's gone now. So yeah, there's a couple things that we need to update.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, we need to, I don't know that there's necessarily any one particular city staff person who's assigned to maintaining that inventory. So I think it makes sense for me to raise my hand to become that person.
Yeah. Any other questions for Anne on the Oregon City Parks and Recreation mural? Okay.
Well, the next mural to talk about is the Ogle Mountain mural restoration, which you see, which is downtown. That is now completed, and the applicant worked with the original artist, as you know, when we met with David here on our special at the June 5th meeting. I do not have his signed easement agreement, but he won't receive his grant support until we get it. So I assume that we will have that. Get the easement agreement and his application fee, and then he'll be able to receive his grant. But he actually hired an illustrator as well as Justin Reed to do the work, so we had two artists working on the documentation, working on the mural. Any questions about that one? Or I should jump into Salmon Bench.
Yeah.
All right. Actually, I'm going to ask you, Myra, do you want to give an update there? Or I know we've been talking about different ways to move forward.
Yeah, I don't know how much everyone else is aware of, but we've been going back and forth with the artist about how to proceed with that, how best to proceed, I should say. The biggest point of concern was how to create a deterrent to any skateboarders or that sort of activity on the bench if we're going to the effort to restore it. There was the idea that we should try to protect it as much as possible so it can last for many more years to come. The artist originally had brought up the idea of creating ceramic bumps to create that deterrent, but we were concerned that those would be susceptible to breaking. So now the artist has come forward with a couple more design ideas that would honor the restoration, but also include some L brackets to install on it. I don't know if anyone has questions about that, but that's a rough update. We're trying to streamline things as much as we can so that she can move forward knowing what to expect and what she needs to do. So that's kind of where we're at this very second, hoping to have a decision so we can move forward.
Thanks, Myra. When we met on the June 5th meeting, people wanted to see the actual budget. So she had agreed to the $10,000 budget, but people wanted to see the written budget. That's included in the package in front of you. So if you have an update of the 10th so that's where there's a breakdown of how the funds will be spent of the 10,000 that she's receiving. And so really there's two different choices, and maybe I can just show this to everybody.
Yeah, while Anne's getting that up, so there's two different choices. One is to have those glass beads around the edge And then the L brackets would be dispersed around the edge of the bench. And then the other option would be to have a trim instead of the glass beads to be rectangular ceramic tiles. The only downside, let's see, the upside of the glass beads would be that they'd be easy to replace if they were popped off or damaged. The downside of the rectangular ceramic ones, even though I think that looks attractive, the concern was that with the rectangular ceramic tiles that they wouldn't create enough of a height difference once the L brackets were installed. So the L brackets wouldn't maybe potentially be high enough to be a deterrent if someone did indeed decide to do like a skateboard, like riding the rails, situation. So I don't know if you can see that graphic up now, but this is the illustration of it with the beaded trim.
I'm sending this to you. Who else needs to see it? So for folks online, I'm popping this in an email to you now.
Myra, I have a question. So the glass pebble border, those are set in grout, or is she saying
Yeah.
those are set in tile?
Those would be set in grout.
Okay.
So they would bring forth like some more cohesion with the other spots that have the glass pebbles. So it would kind of tie it all together a little more, which I do like that idea.
And I'm just curious, before it had a metal frame around it, why not add the L brackets just to the stainless steel frame? Was it just not attractive enough, or too much money, or?
I think to answer that, I didn't understand where the metal part would be. It's actually going to be underneath. So, so if I, let me scroll down to option, so here, can folks see what I'm displaying now? So this has, around the edges are blue tiles similar to what it was before. There are some spaces left, as Myra was describing, where there's some grout and then an L bracket in there. So that was the addition of these L brackets to deter skateboarders. But again, as Myra said, one of the things that Becky noted is that the ones that she found are comparable in height to the tiles themselves. So there really wouldn't be too much of a deterrent if she added those there. But that would be the blue tile with some exposed grout. So that's one option. Then the other option, as Myra just described, would be to have have the glass beads in the grout itself. So it would be a dark grout with the beads and the L brackets, and then the beads themselves would also contribute to the sort of an uneven platform.
Right. And then the L brackets with the glass beads, they stand up higher enough where it would be harder to skate across it?
Yeah, I think there's more of a height difference with the pebbles and the brackets versus the ceramic tiles and the brackets. But I don't know, I can't remember how much of a difference there is.
I did have
It seems to me that having the long tiles the same height as the metal bracket kind of defeats the purpose of having the metal bracket. So I'm inclined not to go in that direction.
I will say that I had a conversation with Becky today, and she'd been doing a lot of research to try to find these brackets. I mean, they're usually put into either like a concrete. So she was feeling that it wasn't going to she wasn't sure she had the right kind of bracket to make it be high enough to have it be, and it was her inclination when I spoke with her today, and I'm gonna scroll back down to, because you see this, they're not very thick.
Yeah, those look very different from the ones I've seen that have been used in the past when I've seen them on like handrails and things
Yeah.
like that.
And here's another one, like this, the thickness of this, she suggested another option would be to leave it as it is, with the blue tile on the side, and just keep it, because thinking that with this, it would look best if we just kept it sort of as it is. In other words, here, so on this sample, you see there's blue tiles all around the edge, and then just have the blue tiles without any.
I mean, I think the blue tiles will be attractive. I think we were just raising the concern of any damage happening to it, but if it hasn't happened before now, I mean, it's probably not going to be that big of a concern. So maybe it's best to just tell her to not worry about it and move.
Yeah, and I know,
forward.
I know Amy had some questions too about putting in something that wasn't going to be effective to the purpose of, like, don't put them on if it's not going to serve the purpose of deterring skateboarders. So she was thinking also to have it restored to what it was before and have just it be the blue tile all around.
I guess my thinking is, in terms of timeline, it'd be better to move forward with getting her going on this, and maybe we could talk to Public Works after about, is there something they can add to it to help deter it later? Because I looked at the bench. I don't know if skateboarding was really the reason it came apart. I don't know if there are a lot of skateboarders that use it, even today. So I guess I'm less worried about this and wouldn't want this to slow down the rest of the project.
I'm going to open up Mayor McGriff just sent this link. Oh yeah, so here's another example on concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't send a link, but yes, those are some brackets, and I would say forearmed is forewarned. So even if you don't think somebody might do it, I think it's better to put them on there. We have them in a lot of places, and we haven't had any issues. I've seen people sit there and pick at it. That's like,
Yeah.
Right.
I know. It's like so weird.
No, I was worried about the glass pebbles and people picking at them, especially if they're on the edge, if you're sitting there. It's just human nature to want to like fiddle with stuff.
And correct me if I'm wrong, there's supposed to be a metal frame around the outside now, right? And then there's going to be an epoxy on top that covers the whole thing.
Right, and the tile will be over the frame, over the metal. So you won't see the metal, you'll just see the
From
tile.
the top, you won't see the metal.
Right. So I think at this point, our two choices are to have her restore them as it was, with no deterrent at all, or to have her restore it with the blue tiles, but to leave spaces for us to come back and then find something that's thicker than, thick enough to make a difference. But that would be an additional add-on to this.
Additional add-on meaning cost.
Yes.
Well, we don't really have more budget dedicated beyond the 10,000, right? So.
Right, and she wants to work she's planning to do the install and is getting ready with her right-of-way closures for the Saturday.
For this Saturday.
This coming Saturday. So even though she does have the time extension, she would like to get it done.
So does it basically boil down to the fact that we haven't allotted funding for the skateboard deterrent pieces and making sure that we have some that are thick enough to make sense.
Oh, okay. I would just say, since Saturday is coming up, maybe we just move forward with it as is and see if we can work with Public Works later to install some skateboarding deterrents.
That sounds fine for me.
I think that's a good idea. Just have Ann put in the request to Dana.
Great.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we should leave a little space in between so that we don't have to remove tiles later, and just have exposed grout until we find the right piece, or if we should
Yes.
just,
Yeah, I would say leave it exposed, where she was planning to put the brackets, but just don't put anything until, Public Works can take a look at it.
okay, great.
Any objections to that or concerns with that?
Yeah, I have a concern.
Okay.
So you're asking her to leave a gap in her design for a skate stopper that we don't have selected, and so we don't know how big it is.
Well, yeah, but we could also say, Public Works, this is what we're working with. You have this big a space. Is there a product out there that you're aware of that you can put on there? They might have more information on what options are available. Or, I mean, if Ann can get the information from them before then, this week, she could ask them, what's the normal width? And then pass that along to Becky, so Becky can include that in her design. Or,
And does Public Works provide the skate stoppers?
I would think they typically wouldn't be the ones installing them, but I'm not sure.
So they don't have any in stock currently. They obviously have installed them in different places in the past, and could help us order some, but don't have any currently in stock.
Okay.
I see Denise has her hand raised. Hope you unmute if you're talking.
Sorry, I was typing. I think Public Works might be concerned about installing something after the fact on our piece. They've installed them on concrete, like for instance, around the splash pad. There's been some walkways, but I think like at Public Works, they have them on some of their ramps, but I think those were installed as part of the construction. So my suggestion would be to get a hold of somebody at PW like right away, and see what because today's Monday, so somebody could respond tomorrow, and that would be before Saturday. Because maybe there's a I think traffic safety supply may carry stuff like that. I don't know. They're local.
Okay,
But
yep.
you should, if she's moving ahead on Saturday, I would get going.
Okay, I can talk with both Eric Hand and Vance to get to see what our options are.
Yeah, Vance is the man.
Excellent. Well, thanks everyone for your contributions.
So,
Great job, my dear.
and correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have a formal approval yet of this project since we're waiting on the $10,000 updated budget, correct? So we need a motion to approve this.
If I recall correctly, at our June 5th meeting, we approved it contingent upon receiving the budget, which we do have. I don't think we need to do another motion or another approval, because I think we approved it on June 5th.
Okay, yep, okay, great.
So that leaves one more project update. And thanks for that discussion. Oh no, that's all three.
That's all three.
We did all three. Great, thank you.
And with that, I will pass it over to Daria to give an update on the Municipal Code 2.26 update Arts Commission and Arts Commission bylaws.
Yes, thank you. Well, I want to start by thanking and acknowledging the city staff because they were really generous with their time, and I'm referring to Anne, Jacob, and James. We met several times over a number of hours, and so I just want to put on the record, how grateful I am for their contribution and their insights to be able to provide updates to this work. There are two documents, and I know that you already received it, and thank you for sending to everyone both versions. Basically, for both documents, you have the red-lined version, so you can see all the changes, and then the one without the red lines, so you can see the proposed. Sometimes with the red lines can be a bit intense. And of those two documents, the one that I'd like to talk about and more importantly, get your input about is actually the shorter document, in fact. And so it's the one that is titled Municipal Code 425. Because basically, these two documents, they've got a slightly different they're different in many ways. One is that the municipal code, of course, is more high level, because it's part of the municipal code. You don't want to go too much in the nitty-gritty of things. And also, the municipal code requires, after we as an arts commission, we feel comfortable with it, then after that, we need to take it to the city commission for approval. So the municipal code is not something that we as our commission, we can basically discuss and approve and then we're done, right? We really need after that to move it to the arts commissioners so that they can review it, provide their input, and maybe we need to adapt it and modify it based on their input. And so that is the first document that I really would like, to collect feedback. As I said, James, Jacob, and Anne were very instrumental in these changes, actually, and you'll see in the line we had to modify a number of things, partly because this was so old that certain things didn't even exist anymore. They kind of didn't really make much sense. And others, in some cases, really, over time, the commission had made changes to its operation, and so therefore the document really did not reflect the reality of how things are actually being done over time. So with that said, since you all received the document, so what I would like to do for this specific one is for all of you to provide your input if you've got questions or things that you feel uncomfortable about. It's very high level. It's a very short document, right? So there are major changes, but I would like to, for this meeting, for all of you to provide input if you have, or if you don't have any, you feel that is fine as is, then we do a move to approve. But basically, the ultimate goal here is if there are modifications, we discuss them, and so that I can do those modifications, and therefore then provide the new updated document at the next meeting, after which hopefully we can then present it to the city commission. And if you feel instead that the document is fine as is, given that it was a number of hours from city staff to help us with that, then we can also approve it as is. It's really up to us to decide whether or not it reflects the Arts Commission high level, let's say, guidelines, so to speak. And then you see the second document, then is the bylaws, and that is definitely, there's more work into that because the bylaws, again, were pretty dated, and also there were a lot of gaps. So the bylaws are way more substantial in how many changes have been made and proposed, but differently from the first document, the bylaws do not require city commission approval. It's actually something that we as our commission, once we feel comfortable with, we approve, and those become our new bylaws. So that's the difference in terms of approval structure. And so perhaps if we could start, I don't know if you had an opportunity to go through the documentation, and if you have feedback, that's really, this is what this meeting, or this part of the meeting is about.
Denise, I saw you comment in the chat. Yeah, so I think for today, let's get any comments that anyone has immediately for Daria to look at and look to incorporate. Because we have agendized this as a review, we won't seek approval of this
No, because we
document.
need to discuss, yeah.
Yeah, we won't seek approval of the document today. I also like to make sure that the members that aren't present also have a chance to weigh in. So what I would suggest is any comments that immediately people have, we address, talk through today. Daria, you can make some changes, and then we'll try and get a final version and get feedback, by the next meeting in July.
Yeah, I really like that direction, Josh. Thank you. If we could have maybe committal from everyone to provide the feedback timely, so that we can then kind of start to bringing towards some conclusion in the next meeting, that'd be very much appreciated, because this has been going on for a lot of time now, a long time, and it would be nice to sort of be able between now and the next meeting, if we can have all the commissioners to today and the one that are not present, maybe if we can have some agreement to have the feedback provided in the next couple of weeks, that would give me enough time to update the documents for the following meeting, basically. So it would be nice to have a little bit of a committal, because it's been dragging for so long now that I don't want to find myself next month again to have to postpone it, if possible.
Well, so the other piece, Daria, that plays into this is the mural code. And I've taken an initial red line to that. I need to share with city staff. The plan would be to take both of those two codes, the proposed edits, once the Arts Commission has signed off on it, to then send it to the City Commission to review. And I'm not sure if there'll actually be any kind of like working sessions to walk through those with them, or if they would prefer just to look at it themselves and say yay or nay or give feedback. But I would like to do both at the same time, so that it's much more easy
I
for
know
them.
that you're working on the other one. So I know that when we had meetings with Anne, and Anne tell me if I'm kind of remembering incorrectly, but I remember correctly when we had meetings with James, you and Jacob, we were discussing the possibility of being able to bring to the commission the document, in September or October, if I recall properly. Is that also your recollection, Anne?
I was thinking it was more like October, November, but you're right, that it would it would necessitate a work session with City Commission if there were going to be any changes proposed to code.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe if we can have feedback, if is there any feedback from the from the team?
Myra had her hand up, and so does Denise.
But you're on mute, Myra.
Okay. I think it looks great, and I'm excited about all the hard work that you've done. I can't imagine. I can only imagine all the work that's gone into it. And so the only thing that popped up for me as I was just scanning over it, was the annual report.
In which document, which one of the two documents, sorry, are you referring to?
Sorry, the one that has the revisions marked on it.
Yeah, but there are two documents with revision. One is the municipal code and the other one is the bylaws.
I think the annual report is in the municipal code.
Thank you.
It should probably be in both, but yeah, okay. Okay.
I was just wondering if there was a specific date that the annual report should be provided by, if that is even,
So my understanding, Myra, from that, this is like I'm channeling Jacob most of it.
okay.
For the municipal code, my understanding for Jacob, from a law perspective, he, in a number of occasions, every time I wanted to put into the municipal code, not the bylaws, the municipal code, I want to put in dates or a specificity of timelines. His feedback was that it's best in the municipal code not to do that because it kind of binds you in ways, because the municipal code takes much longer and is quite a process to amend, right? And laws and things change over time. And so his recommendation, which I felt was really good one, was to put some of the nitty-gritty specificities in the bylaws and ensure that, of course, the two documents align with each other, but to not put too much solid kind of sticks in the sand, because then becomes very difficult if, the political climate changes, things change in the world, right, over time. And so that's my understanding. And I don't know, Anne,
No, you're correct. You're correct. You want to keep it more generic. You do not want to make it very specific because it depends on the schedule of the city commission as to when Jacob will schedule these annual meetings, and you don't want to say in May, and then we're in the middle of budget or something and we don't get it scheduled. So just leave that, just say, we'll report annually. I don't think you guys need to come twice a year unless you want to. I would just say at least once a year.
Yeah.
And leave it at that. And then it could be whenever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am satisfied.
Yeah, Jacob is correct. You don't want to get too much specificity, as they say, in the municipal code. You don't want to get super specific in your bylaws either, even though you can change those more easily. You want to keep it. You want to keep it manageable, is how I would describe it.
Yeah, and so right now we is in the annual report. Liner says the Arts Commission shall provide the City Commission with an annual report. That's it. That's all there is, right? Which seems to be suitable.
Okay, excellent.
But thank you, Myra.
The one thing I wanted to add.
Sorry, Denise.
Oh no, I just said the one thing I wanted to add, and I will give my comments to Anne, but the Arts Commission is an advisory commission to the City Commission, as are all the committees and commissions. So wherever you have something like that in there, it's an advisory group.
I thought that we actually had it written, but maybe now I'm going to go back into it.
Yeah, there's a place where you refer to an organization and you don't use the bylaws don't use the word organization any other place except there.
Oh, so you're looking at the bylaws now? So
I'm looking at both. I'm looking at both of them.
Okay.
I was looking at both of them.
Okay. So I'm going to take some notes.
Yeah, I will get this to Anne and she will get this to you. Yeah,
perfect.
She will get
Thank
it to
you so very much. Perfect.
Yeah, I would just, like I said, you have in here, one of the things that the commission, that they do is their job is to advise the city commission on all things art. So that's who you're advising.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, other than that, like I said, I'll give everything else to Anne.
Okay. Anything else that for the municipal code, and then we can move to the bylaws, which are a bit more complex.
I also do have some comments, but I think I need to think through them a little bit more because they're more open questions. So I will send you mine offline as well, or I'll send them to Anne and she can pass them along.
Yeah, we can send them directly, it's fine, whatever works. Yeah, I mean, this one, the municipal code, so you guys all know, it really was several meetings and a number of hours with James and Jacob and Anne for that short document, because we went through a number of other documents and, there was a very strong intent to ensure that, and I have to say Jacob was fantastic in that, to really try to ensure that it will be tied with other parts of the municipal code and, the current ways in which the city is operating. It was really quite, we went quite in a lot of depth in those meetings. So I just, again, want to sort of reiterate how grateful I am for the input.
Denise, your hand is still raised. Did you have another comment?
Oh,
No, I don't.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shall we move to the next document that is a little bit more longer, I guess? Okay. So the bylaws was a little bit of a different story because the way in which I went about it was basically to review, obviously there has to be an alignment between the municipal code and the bylaws, right? So one part of the amendments was really about ensuring that whatever we change on one side is reflected on the other. So that's one part. Another part was really to integrate into the bylaws some of the things that we have been executing, really, actually, modifying and executing over the last 12 plus months. For instance, things that are embedded in some of our RFP processes, in the various documents that have been created over time. I went through all of those because there were a lot of things in those documents that we already executed that really we're really talking about some of the bylaws of the organization, basically. And so that's kind of like the two parts. One is alignment with the municipal code on one side, and the other one, alignment with documents that have been already created by, different people on the Arts Commission of the last year and a half, right? And so from perspective of documents that we created, but also a different type of standards and processes that we have been adopting over the last year and a half. So that's kind of how I went about it. It was very dated. There was a lot of stuff that didn't make any sense anymore. I don't even remember, it was something like 20 years old, just something incredibly old. So those are the two components for you to consider. It's much longer document, so I don't know if you had an opportunity to read it through it or not. And if not, I think it might actually be something that you might not be able to do right now in the course of this meeting. And so if you haven't read it, if you could provide feedback or input or even questions in the next couple of weeks, or, this one I think we can take a little bit more time. But again, I would like, if possible, not to drag it for several months again, because I think I started working on this, I want to say almost a year ago now. So it would be really, really lovely if we could start, start congealing this work so that we can move to other projects and other things. So if it's possible, if not now, I understand there is a pretty long document, so I don't have the expectation that all of you had a chance to read it for tonight. But unless you have comments today, which would be fantastic, but if you don't, please do, if you can, send them to me in the next few weeks. That would be so much appreciated.
I have two initial comments. I'll probably have more, but one was under the financial manager practices. The first,
Yes.
item number one there, it talks about the 2023-25 budget. I think we should strike anything that is specific to a certain year and keep it more general. Because
Hang on a second, I'm trying to find which section are you in? I'm trying
9.
to find it, I'm scrolling down. Okay, here we go. Okay, that actually was originally in the original bylaws, right? But I'm very happy to, I'm happy to strike it. There's no problem with me. If everybody feels it was in the original, that one is there because that's how it was before.
Yeah, I think that would be, I think anything that is not in generalized should be striked or rewritten. So,
So let me cancel it for now. I'm gonna, oops, I'm gonna second, so I'm just like editing my, my document here. I'm gonna put some comments, okay?
My
So
other,
is that the sentence, the first sentence of point one, right? Is that what you're referring to?
yeah, basically all of point one.
All of point one, okay. Is everybody on board with that? Any other perspective on it? Okay.
My other comment is just how we spell bylaws. There are a couple different ways. It looks like we're spelling with a hyphen in some places and without in others. I believe the correct
Yes.
spelling is without a hyphen. So I would just recommend looking for those spots
Yes.
and making those swaps.
And it's not, it's two words actually. Okay. 1 second. Here. Yep, thank you. Anything else?
I have one or two minor things, but I'll just put together a series of edit. I'll just send them to you.
Yeah, if you send them as bullets, yeah, I prefer it, or, comments on the document. You do have actually the commenting, but, bullets is good. Because if everybody starts modifying it, it becomes a bit of a nightmare to manage.
Any other comments that people want to make at this time?
Well, I just want to thank Daria for all of her work because she's put in, as she said,
Yeah.
a lot of time and appreciate the fact that she persisted to keep this going on. So thank you for all of your efforts. It's going to make a difference.
Thank you, Anne.
Yes, thank you, Daria. Awesome. So, moving on then, the next item is the Arts Commission agenda next 6 months. So, this was something I was leading, and I will share my screen. In talking with James, it's his kind of opinion that one of the things that as an Arts Commission we've been doing the last few years is being a little more reactionary. We have funds that we're trying to spend, grants we're trying to start and execute on, and we seem to, just be always in a reactionary state and want to look at trying to get ahead and be proactive in our work a bit and get kind of a longer term plan in place. So with that, I started thinking through kind of some initial thoughts here. This kind of goes over what I just mentioned here. We're starting a new biennium in July. I think it's a great opportunity to get ahead and without a burden of a tight timeline, which I know the last 5 months has been just a sprint to June 30th and trying to get everything done, and everyone's done an amazing job of work and contributing. But I think looking ahead now, it's a good opportunity to try and get to a place where we can, get a bit ahead. For 2025, 2027 budget, we have 50,000 approved per the budget committee. We also have a possibility of rolling over some discretionary funds. I've followed up with James on that. He is working with Tony to try and, come to some resolution on that. So that could be an additional chunk of change that we could roll over and have access to for the next biennium, which would be great. So those two kind of opportunity there. I think what I'm thinking we need to look for, and I'm really looking for input on these, is a strategic plan, at least 5-year strategic plan that kind of maps out where we think we need to be focused on over the next several years. It would help create a lot of continuity amongst the Arts Commission as, new members join and old members decide whether or not they're going to continue on or not. And kind of minimize some distractions. There's times when things come up to us that we aren't planning for, and then it ends up taking a lot of our time and bandwidth away from, maybe a more overall strategic approach. What we just discussed, the municipal codes, I think this is a great project that Daria led. We also have the mural codes, which again, I've been working on, we'll be sharing with city staff, but those two changes could mean a lot of impact for what we do and would be great to have those go through. Same thing with the bylaws, grants, financial policies, all of those things, kind of the base layer of our work. Those things mapped out help us tremendously execute things more efficiently. And then funding, trying to secure more funding where we can to implement, again, new projects, new opportunities for artists in Oregon City and for citizens in Oregon City. So looking to do that. Part of the reason for the strategic plan is that a lot of times grants require some type of plan in place to submit for them. So you can't just ask for money to be for some future potential event. You want to have a plan in place. So by having that strategic plan in place, going for the funding would be much, much easier. Anyone who has questions, please stop me. I'm just going to go through this, and I was going to get to the end. We can go through it all again, but if you do have any immediate questions, please stop me. So how do we get there? I think basically what I've gone through, establishing a strategic plan, municipal codes, establishing some teams that are dedicated to some aspects. So for example, financials, people that are helping us go and look for grants, partnerships. We have Amy and Joyce who sit with the, I'm blanking on the name of the organization now. The Clackamas Art Alliance Committee of Committees, or Committee of Commissions, basically the marketing. So once Rebecca has finished all the hard work she's been putting in on the website, we're going to need some people to help dedicate to keeping it updated and relevant. And so there's going to be some need to kind of organize ourselves a little bit around these various pieces, and then templating pieces out. So this is kind of going in line with what Daria's kind of brought up before, but having some things that are more mapped out so that, we know that if we want to do a grant program, it's going to take, say 7 months, a month for this, a month for that, 3 months for this. And then, we know exactly how long it's going to take so we can easily execute on that plan. So looking through all those things and looking ahead for the next 6 months, this is kind of what I've laid out. So July, Daria, I know you want to focus on getting those municipal codes done. I think we might be able to pull that up into July. If not, I kind of thought August at a late date would be the finalization of those to go to the city commission. Also in July, identify potential goals for the strategy plan and review the final biennium funds allocation. So we'll know by then where we stand on our budget for this next biennium. August, we'd also review the final goals and set objective tasks for the strategy plan. September, we would send these bylaws and this municipal code to the city commission. And like Ann said, we would organize some type of working session with them to coordinate on that, finalize objectives, tasks, and define teams. Let me move this out of the way so I can see the whole screen. October, review initial draft of the strategy plan, do our work with the city commission and municipal code approval, review grant templates. November, second review of strategy plan and finalize, and then finalize grant templates. And then December, review new Oregon City Arts Commission applications and give recommendations. I think that can be bumped up to November as well. Approve strategy document and approve grant template. So kind of just looking ahead at what we could be focused on in the next 6 months to try and get those things wrapped up and good to go by end of this year would give us about 18 months of budget runway to then start executing on those plans with hopefully those new municipal codes in place and templates and structure built around us. I will stop there and see any questions.
I just have a comment on the timeline for you, just for your interest, Josh. I will be out of the country the entire month of August. And so it's impossible for me to attend that specific meeting where you put on your timeline that the bylaws and the municipal code will be finalized. So that's why I was hoping that we could do it before that, if possible.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, we can look to try and pull that into July.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be very helpful.
Certainly for the bylaws, I would think.
yeah, for the bylaws. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, epiphanies?
How about advertising so we can get more outreach for planned events and so forth?
I think, so you're talking in terms of like a team or a group focus on that?
Or just a go-to, this is who we deal with for advertising.
Oh, like a communication plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that would be great. And I think that could be done as part of the overall, it could, maybe a high level one at the strategy level, but then maybe something the marketing team focuses on a little bit too is a communication plan of, if we're doing said event, we contact these channels to share the information. If we're doing this type of event, it's something else. I totally agree with you that some type of communication plan would be helpful to have, that we know exactly who we need to reach out to, and it just becomes a checklist for us.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts? I will send this to Anne. I didn't get it done in time before this meeting to send it to her, but I will send it after, and people can have a look at it and feel free to respond. What we'll try and attempt to do is for the July meeting, bring up the finalization of the municipal code and bylaws changes to that, and also work on identifying potential goals and strategy plan. If we need to, we might need to schedule some type of work session to focus on the strategy plan. It's a big process, so I don't want to not take the time to do it right. But that could be maybe done a little bit later in the year. I don't want to, especially since all the hard work you guys have been doing since up to June 30th for all these projects. I don't want to ruin your summer as well with a work session, but maybe something a little bit early fall if needed as we progress through those. So, and then review the final biennium budget funds, and then there will be some administrative costs that we'll have to make sure we do add into our budgets, like the website maintenance going forward, which really we've gotten that for a good price already, so having that going forward would be great.
May I ask a question, Josh? So as we're looking at this plan, I know we'll need to determine like some big projects as well. Like, so what will our priority for the are we going to do another 6x6 show? How would that look? I mean, do we want to do another call for artists? Like, I think, like when would some of those identification of projects take place?
So I think that it would be under finalized objectives and tasks.
Okay.
So September timeframe.
In September.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. If no other comments, again, I'll share these out to Anne. If you have any other thoughts, feel free to send them to Anne and she can pass them along. We'll move forward with those, at least for July, going with those 3 main discussion points. If anything else comes up between then and now, we can add it, of course. So yeah. With that, we can move on to the final item, comments. Any comments, anything? We haven't had time at one of these meetings in a long time to share just general news and updates. So if anyone has anything, feel free to offer it up.
Josh? I just wanted to say, I think that template for our plan, our next 6 months, was a lot of work and a lot of thinking about things. So thank you for putting that all down on paper, because I think it's going to help us out a lot to have some
Guidelines.
direction. In other news, Porch Fest was awarded a city events grant, and we're really excited about that. And we'll be having our main stage at the Pioneer Center this year. We have right now 80 artists, 80 performers, and 40 different venues all over the McLaughlin neighborhood. So we're really excited about that, and to see everybody out there and supporting the arts.
When is that planned for?
Oh, that is August 8th and 9th.
August 8th. Have to plan.
Thank you, Amanda. Denise, your hand is raised. Oh, you're on mute, Denise.
Hope that you all had a chance to attend the Juneteenth celebration. I understand it rained like nobody's business. And I got good reports on it. I was unfortunately not there because I was on vacation. But I did attend the Juneteenth event in Wilsonville on Juneteenth, on the 19th, and had a chance to visit with the surprise guest, which was Governor Kotek and her wife, Amy Wilson Kotek. So that was like a complete surprise. And they had some major art events in Ashland over the weekend while I was there. I attended the farmers market, which had some art, and then I attended the artisan fair, which is down on the riverbank on the plaza, and left a little bit of economic development strategy funding for them. So, and I'm enjoying my 3 art pieces that I bought at the event, and I have not given the one to my friend that I bought for her, so I can't wait to see how she likes it.
Great. Any other comments? Okay. Well, then I will be pleased to say let's move forward with adjourning the meeting early for the first time in about 6 months.
Good, because I'm fading. I
Yeah.
all day today. Fine.
Okay, well then, with that, I don't think we need a motion to adjourn, so I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 8:23 p.m. Thank you everyone very much. Hopefully you all enjoying the sunshine this week, and we will talk again soon.
Thank